Hello everyone, this is Sarah from Night Vision, and today we are going to see the 6th lesson in Introduction to CSS. Our plan for today is to visit the several text styling techniques, and we will go straight into the implementation. Some of these techniques or options that we have are colors, text align, text decoration, text transform, text indent, letter spacing, line height, word spacing, and text shadow. Of course, we will see each of these options during the demonstration. Let's now go straight into the implementation and experiment with text styling. Okay, so if you access the file that I left in the description, you will see the style sheet file, the HTML file, and the slides, the PDF file that we just have discussed. Okay, so if I run the HTML file in Notepad++, I will see HTML, of course, the head that has a title and a link to the external style sheet, which is this one. Inside the body I have a heading and a paragraph with a break line and an A tag, which is a link. Now if I run it in my browser, I will see the heading and the paragraph, and this is the link. Okay, so let's get started. Let's access our CSS file and start to experiment with these different options we have. Let's first start by adding text align center, and what this will do is that it will push the heading from the left side to the center of the page. Let's refresh, and you can see how this applied. It was here previously and now it's here in the center. Let's try to add the right, so I'm just gonna copy paste this. Ctrl S to save, refresh. Now it's gone to the right of the page. Of course, the default option is left, so if I put it left, it won't really do anything. The text was there and it will stay there at the left. Okay, now we will leave these two options for last. We will come and visit them. Let's move to the paragraph styling. Before I forget, of course, each of these options will also apply to heading and to A, regardless. You can try to add options from this place up in here and see these how these affect the heading or the A tag. So basically these options work for all headings, paragraph, and A tags. Okay, so let's add the background color black and the color blue. We already seen these options. We're just gonna review them quickly. So background color will add a background that has a color of black, and the words will be colored in blue. Ctrl S to save. Let's refresh, and we can see how this applied to our HTML page. Now let's comment these out so they don't annoy us. Okay, let's take the first option, text decoration overline. What this will do is that it will add a line over each of the lines I have inside the paragraph. So let's see this in action. Here we go. So if I see this hello world, hello world. I'm just used to say hello world. Hello all. My favorite games are Sonic the Hedgehog. I can see that there is this line above the line in my paragraph, and this line in here is above this one, and the last line in here is above the last line in my paragraph. Okay, so this was overline. Line through, it's a line that goes through the line. Okay, line through. Ctrl S to save, refresh. I can see how this applied. And finally I have the underline, which will be under the line. So So it's pretty self-explanatory. Underline, Control S to save, refresh. I can see how the line is now under each line in my paragraph. Okay, let's move to text decoration none. So by default, paragraphs have the text decoration none because they don't have anything. We did remove it, but I didn't save. Here we go. Refresh. So by default, headings and paragraph are not don't have any text decoration. The text decoration is set to none. However, on A links, the default is set to underline, text decoration underline. There are many cases, like for example, if I was styling a header or a menu, I will need to add A links, so I can press on the menu item and it will take me to the right page, so it is a link. However, I don't want it to be underlined, so what I could do is just add text decoration none, Control S to save, refresh, and here we go, the underline is gone. I will just set it back the way it was, and let's continue with this option. The next option we're gonna see is text transform. So I have the uppercase, capitalize, and lowercase. By default, it will just take the paragraph just as I wrote it, and it will be just the way I wrote it to be. Okay. What about I try the text transform uppercase? Then every letter will be in capital, just like so. And if I add capitalize, each first letter of each word will be in capital, while the rest will be in small case letter. So for example, here the H is in capital, LO is in small case letter. Let's take for example this will have W in capital and ILL in small case letter. If we see it right in here, it is all in a small case letter. So this is what these options do. Text indent will add some space to the beginning line of the paragraph. So we added some kind of indent, like you were writing maybe an essay on your website. Perhaps I can decrease the space by making the 150 pixels, and just feel free to mess up with this until you are satisfied. Letter spacing will add space between letters. I can either put a positive or a negative value. So let's start with the positive value in here. Control S to save, refresh. I can see that there is some space that was added between each letter. Let's increase this. 10 pixels is gonna be too much, but yeah, that's what it does. -3 will make the letters be near each other, like this, almost that I can't read what is written. Anyway, you don't know when this will come handy. Line height, it's the height of each line in the paragraph. Let's refresh. So when I set it to something less than 1, I can see that these lines are near one another. And when I set it to something above 1, like 1.8, I will see there will be much more space. Notice in here that the gap here has decreased. So also it might come in handy. Word spacing is the space between each word. So let's set it to 10. I can see that the space between one word and another are pretty big. I can set it to -5, so it's gonna be nearer. Control S to save. Here we go. And then last we have in here the text shadow that we are gonna see. So the text shadow will drop some shadow to my text. The red is the color of the shadow. I can set it to black, to gray, whatever you want. As for these two pixels, The first one will describe the position X, and the second one will describe the position in Y. And I'm gonna tell you just now how this works. So let's try first of all the 1 pixels. Okay, refresh. You can see that I added some shadow to my paragraph in red. If I try to push it like 3, let's refresh. The shadow is more apparent now. I just pushed the shadow 3 pixels in the X and 3 pixels in the Y. Let's say, for example, I pushed it 10 pixels in the X and 0 pixels in the Y. So you see, the shadow is at the same Y position as the original text, but it is pushed 10 pixels away from the original text. Same goes if I put 0 pixels, then 10 pixels, then it will be pushed down. Let's refresh, and here we go. Okay. Now, last thing, we're gonna talk about these two options that we left out earlier. It is text decoration again. However, this time I can choose to add multiple text decoration, like underline, overline, and then I could give it a shape, like a wavy shape, and a color of blue. Ctrl S to save, and let's refresh. This is of course applied to the heading. As we have seen, it has applied the underline and overline. So we have an underline under the heading and an overline above the heading. It is kind of the waves form, so it's wavy, and it is of color blue. Of course, you can mess up with these options. There are many of them you can look out for. Let's try one more. So what this will do, it will do an underline, overline, it will be dotted, and it will be of color red. Let's Ctrl S to save, refresh. So as you see, underline, overline, it is dotted, and it is of color red. So thank you for watching. This was all for today's lesson. It was a pretty long lesson. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave us comments and reviews. This will help us in self-improvement. Please like our video and subscribe. We also have a Patreon if you would like to donate us and support our game development effort. And thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day. See you in the next lesson.